When it comes to a Central Texas summer, there are two things that are really most important to people. How hot's it gonna be, and what's our water situation gonna be like? So that's why we thought we'd take the whole First Warning Weather team out on Lake Travis to talk about what we're thinking about leading into this summer. And so much of what to expect in the summer can depend on what happens in the spring.
We know that obviously from January to the end of April, it was a drier than normal season, and most, if not all of the hotter than normal summers correlate with that precipitation anomaly.
One of the things that was kind of astonishing was that when we looked up these numbers, 100% of the Central Texas area was essentially in some type of drought condition compared to previous years where it wasn't this bad.
Nothing spells that more than the last 9 months. We have had below normal precipitation going back to August of 2024 all the way through April of 2025.
Yeah, so much of what we see in the summer relies on us having a wet spring for us to have somewhat temperate temperatures or less hot temperatures in the summer, right?
Yeah, and there's a reason for that when you think about just the science of it, right? If you get springtime rainfall, that rain, that water is now in the soil. We get into the summertime months, it takes some of that heat energy to evaporate that water before it goes directly to warming the air. So the less of that water to evaporate, the more of that heat energy goes into heating the air. So without springtime rainfall, you're looking at no delay in that summertime heat. And unfortunately, we're getting a taste of that.
Yeah, and here we are out on beautiful Lake Travis. I was looking at the combined storage of Lakes Travis and Buchanan at the beginning of the year and also at the beginning of May. It was higher than at this point last year, which you would think is a good thing, but the inflows are actually lower than our drought of record, which means that the water coming in is not coming in at any good pace at all. No. So that would be a downward trend in our lake levels fairly rapidly as we head into summer. And Kristen, I know you were looking at what it would sort of take to fill these lakes, and we fill these lakes through floods, and we can get those in a variety of ways.
Last time Lake Travis was full was back in 2018 in the late fall in the summer, but that's because we had the Lena River flood.
There it is right there.
Yeah, Rich, there's a lot of new people moving to Central Texas too, and while we may be used to a lot of triple-digit days in the summer, they may not be.
Exactly. So it's important that people remember do things like wear a wide brim hat, to drink plenty of water. People need to pay attention to their bodies and light-colored, loose-fitting clothing, things like that. Things that are very important to survive the heat that we have during the season.
And I will say also, as a dog owner, we have to take into account walking our pups a little bit earlier in the day or later. Typically when it's the fall or the winter, you can let a dog out at 12, 1, 2 o'clock, but the asphalt, once you get toward the late morning, early afternoon, is just way too much on their paws.
So water conservation, in addition to heat safety, is a big concern in the summer. Most of the water we use in the summer goes into irrigation and landscape, which is an easy fix when it comes to conserving water.
Everyone wants to know how many triple digits is the First Warning Weather team expecting this summer. So let's go around the group here, starting with you, Rich.
58. Last year, I guess 76, and I was way off there.
I think we'll be above average, obviously. I'm going for 45.
40's my number. I know Jim Spencer also guessed 40. Once he heard I guessed 40, he guessed 41, so that he could potentially be closer. So he's going 41 for similar reasons.
I think 56, only because, we're not seeing the springtime rainfall that we need to delay some of that summertime heat.
Tommy?
And I'm going with 38, which makes me the fan favorite, because it's the least amount of days out of all of us.
One thing we haven't talked about a lot yet, the tropics, and whether we could get some beneficial heavy rain from the tropics or not. Sometimes a busy season can mean no Gulf storms that help us out. Sometimes quieter seasons, but we get lucky and we get a storm that brings us beneficial rain, right, Kristen?
Absolutely. And it's tough because with summer, it's our second driest season. Typically winter is our driest. I'm not seeing a hyperactive season like we had in 2020 when we had the most number of storms we've ever experienced in the Atlantic Basin, but I do think we'll probably see more storms than normal.
What is our overall First Warning Weather team summer forecast? hotter than normal and drier than normal. I think we're all on board with that. Certainly hope we're wrong about being both.
It's important. You don't move to Texas thinking it's going to be a cool summer, right? Like,
right.
but we're just trying to manage expectations.
So we appreciate you joining us out here on Lake Travis. We'll continue to guide you through the end of spring and the rest of summer right here with the First Warning Weather team.